So this is my video log of today and my trip to the life uh, beyond grief, the Beyond Grief event that I'm attending. It was very interesting. It was very powerful. It was not just love beyond grief, life beyond grief. Just the idea of put on by the Forever Family Foundation, and the idea that these people don't leave this consciousness, like it exists. It exists outside of what we can understand, and yeah, this is a log for myself to remember and to listen to. So I was just very impressed by the whole thing. And they gave us these journals and asked us to write in them and to log our story and experiences. And so I need to put pen to paper and start to kind of log things and take some time for myself to write and think. The founding fathers wrote while they were thinking about things. They were writing things, and then I turn around and I say things like, I want to raise my children like George Washington and Ben Franklin. And I expect to make these like young, erudite, young revolutionaries. And then I don't do those things myself. I don't sit in my silk robe and slippers and sit at my desk and journal in a leather-bound journal and extol my thoughts. And that's bad. Don't do that. So, anyway, this event was just very, I just can't get over how cool it was. And I was really hoping that I would be able to, like, I'm not here for grief. I'm here for a little encouragement, I guess, a little support, little knowledge that there's more than what I see. That there is something powerful, and that I am something powerful. I am always seeking this validation and to fill this hole, which I don't understand why it exists, because I felt loved. So I don't know why there's this. I don't know why. I don't know. Consider that. Anyway, so there's the founder of the organization who started this after his daughter passed away, and they were going to grief counseling. And then in the grief counseling, they would talk about dealing with their grief, but then the people would want to talk about like signs that they were seeing. They wanted to talk about like an afterlife. They wanted to talk about loved ones contacting them. And the grief counselor said, no, we don't do that here. We can't do that. And so they ended up going and making their own group, an organization, and this is what they do. They grief counsel with the idea that like we're not gone. And so then they have this medium school, and they certify mediums, but I guess only 10% of the people that join actually pass. But just very cool people, and they have 4 mediums that were there tonight, and that'll be making the circuit all weekend. And you do a session with each of them, and it is very, very cool. I keep saying that because it is. It was like really awesome. As people are in the room and they're reading these energies, and so the woman was. I guess the spirits come through as pairs generally, from what I noticed. Some of the stories were like amazing, and some of the stories were just like people kind of like, sort of, I guess, not really connected. But when the people really connected to the story, it was powerful. And so there's a pair, and they're talking, and he goes over and he like just feels energy to the left side of the room, and so he starts by saying, "I see a woman and a child," and then eventually they kind of pick through, and like these voices kind of come through. And so for the one lady, her brother had overdosed, and the guy wanted the brother on the other side wanted to let her know, like, it wasn't your fault. There's nothing you could have done. It was me. I had to do it. Otherwise, I would just keep going back and forth. And I know you tried to help me, you tried to save me, but you couldn't help me. It was beyond help. I had to do this, and I did it to myself. So, and then he's just like, I keep seeing 17, 17, the number 17, and so guy died in 17 4 years ago, and so then from 4 years ago, he's like messages. I keep hearing messages. He says messages. You have to listen to messages. Woman says she has 9 messages on her phone, unlistened to. There's 9 unlistened to voicemails that she's held on her phone for 4 years and hasn't listened to. And so the guy's like, yes, you gotta listen to those. Which, again, wow, what a story. And then she like ends up pointing over to where I'm sitting. She points like right at me and my best friend Dan, and she's like, I am just drawn like a magnet to here, um, to this these 2 young men. And then she's like, and then this woman here in front of you. And I guess it kind of works line of sight. If they're feeling an energy, it's like a pair, but that kind of pair kind of goes like boom boom, like this, maybe, from what I saw happen. And so the woman's like, I see a girl, and I see an old woman, and like an older woman. She didn't say old specifically. She said it's an older woman, and then I'm thinking like, okay, woman, and she's like, cancer, cancer, and I'm like, she's looking like right at me, but Dan hasn't said anything. I haven't said anything. She's like, cancer, and she's breast cancer, and I was like, me, and it's like, okay, so, and now I'm thinking like, oh wow, could that be I'm thinking it is, um, and then she's talking to the mom, and it's a 16-year-old girl, and she's talking to the mom who's sitting in front of me, and she lost a 16-year-old daughter in February, so she just recently lost this girl, and so they're going back and forth, and mom's like, yes, yes, and then the woman says like, and I'm hearing Chicago, like your daughter was in Chicago, something in Chicago, and I'm again thinking like, no, and I'm listening because I'm listening to the mom has grief, like I'm here to just hopefully connect to some people, but like the mom has a grief, so I don't want to step over the mom. And and then when the mom was like, no, nothing, and I was like, well, I live in Chicago. I'm from Chicago. She's like, yes, yes, okay, yes. And and then like then we do a couple of things, and the woman ends up saying, and the woman is saying to me, congratulations on the move. And I'm again thinking like, oh, and and she's like, it doesn't necessarily mean a move like a physical move, but it could be a move like it's a big, like a big deal, like there's a like a wedding or something, like something big is happening. And I said, well, this April I get married in Dallas, and she's like, yes, yes, that's it, like congratulations. I was like, wow, wow, like everything like pop, 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 and and then she goes back to the daughter, and then they're talking to the daughter back and forth, and then she, goes back. She's like, and then she's like talking, and then she's like, your daughter, there's an L, something with your daughters and in your daughter's life, and the mom's like, L, I maybe, and I'm like, L. My last name is Landmichl, and she's like, yes, yes, and then bam, she goes back to like that, and they just kind of back and forth, and then she's like, the kind of like ending note is she's like, and like there's art, and your daughter was an artist, and she's like, yes, my daughter loved to paint and draw. And so I let the mom have that one. I didn't say anything, because time was kind of wrapping up, and I didn't want to run over again, so I didn't say anything there. But when they ended the thing, I walked over to the mom, and I talked to her, and I introduced myself, and I told her, I said, my Granny Cookie was a was an artist too, and she painted and she drew, and she's like, well, there that is, like that must have been what the connection was. And the medium kept saying, like, the girl's here as a guide. The girl is here helping the woman cross over and and speak, so she's here as a guide. And the mom said, yeah, my daughter would completely do that. And and then um and then like we connected on that, and it was like, oh wow, that's really interesting. And then I asked her where she was from, where the girl had lived. And it's so funny because I was there just a few weeks ago, and when I got there, I specifically was thinking of Grammy Cookie, and I was like, I really hope Grammy Cookie comes back, and like I get to channel her, and uh, and so the girl ended up being from Reno, Nevada, which I've only been to twice in my life, and I like, it's really a podunk, kind of out of the way place. You have to specifically be going to Reno. It's not like you end up there by accident. And so like I just landed in Reno, and I was thinking about Grammy Cookie, and here Grammy Cookie comes through with this woman from Reno, who like, daughter from Reno, that was an artist that like helped her cross over to like say congratulations on the wedding, and just like radiate love. And then the other medium, because there were four of them in the room, the other one came and said, leaned over me on the way out the door and just quietly said, like, I just want you to know, I kept seeing a rosary, and I kept seeing a rosary all around you, and saw a rosary around you, and I want you to know that. And I was like, Grammy Cookie, Grammy Cookie prayed the rosary every day, And yeah, it was something, really something. And then the other medium said that you other medium said that like we're gonna blow your mind this weekend, and that like you'll be contacted. That, you got a lot of voices here with you. You have a very strong energy, and there's a lot here that like you're gonna walk away like you could not believe this stuff. Like we can't give you social security numbers, but otherwise like you could not believe. And that was like, wow, that's something. So anyway, we'll see what tomorrow holds. But that was tonight, and God bless. God bless God, because that dude is awesome and very great. A very great being, very great power. So, anyway, there are my stories. And Ma, if you are listening to this, I love you very much. And I wish you were here. I think you would have gotten a lot out of this, and you would have enjoyed it. So, tomorrow is another day, and we will see what that brings. But a real peace and a solace from knowing that they're not gone, and none of us can be gone. It's just a passing to the next chapter, to the next adventure, and try again, wherever that is, wherever and whenever. Because like life is a lot better if you consider it this infinity loop and this cycle where you move between heaven and or the universe and then back down into these vessels to learn a lesson, live a lifetime, and then go back up and traverse the stars. It was very comforting, and I enjoyed it very much. And with that, just wanted to say I'm very blessed to be able to do things like this. And it is a good life. And I'm glad to have it. Thank you, God. And thank you to my parents. And to everyone who raised me and helped bring me to this point. Amen.